Welcome to the Brand Lincoln Podcast, the show where we dig into the stories behind Lincoln's most inspiring business owners and influential people. It's where big ideas and even bigger personalities collide. Proudly sponsored by Perch Merch, your one-stop shop for screen printing, embroidery, and promotional products that make your brand unforgettable. Call us at 402-217-5212 or visit us at perch-merch.com to give your business the glow-up it deserves. And don't just listen, be a true multitasker. Like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you're tuning in on. And check us out on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Brand Lincoln Podcast. We're basically everywhere you waste your time. Let's get inspired, Lincoln. The stories start now. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Brand Lincoln. I am your host, Chris Beecham, joined by my co-host, Henry Schmidt.
Hello, Chris.
And my other co-host,
executive co-host, Joe Cruz.
Joe Cruz.
Hello.
So, today in the Perch Merch studio, we have Andrea Norris of Andrea Norris.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you didn't ask for like a place, an address, or anything like that before the episode,
TikTok.
Chris.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
No.
No YouTube?
I just watch YouTube. I don't participate on YouTube.
Oh.
I don't know if I have the attention span to like create long form content myself.
Okay, but you're basically an influencer. What do you call yourself?
I feel like I don't really like sell a lot of shit or like try to influence people's opinions. So I like to use the term content creator.
Okay, no, that's
it makes
I like
me
it.
feel better.
It sounds much more proper.
Yeah, because I feel like most of the time I'm just creating content over like actually like selling shit. So that's kind of how I feel like the word influencer gets like kind of a bad, like icky, gross rep.
You're like, oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah. That post like a million links on their Instagram when no one asked for a link.
Yeah.
Like it's not really my vibe.
Okay, well, last I checked, you had almost 106,000 followers on TikTok alone.
Yeah.
So let's talk, how did this happen?
Honestly, just letting life flow and just staying consistent with content. Like I got laid off from Spreetail. Can I put that in there? Okay.
Yeah.
I got laid off from Spreetail when they did like their huge 700 person layoff in the fall of 2023. And by that time I was just I've always had marketing roles, like e-commerce marketing, social media marketing, branding, creative director positions, like working on the back ends of podcasts. So I was really in tune with that world of social media for other people and like helping other people be successful with it. And so I was just starting to create my own content, just kind of dicking around. And
What kind of stuff did you do first, or like were you drawn to right away?
mostly just Nebraska.
Okay.
Like I have a big heart for Nebraska. I love living here. I've lived here my whole entire life. And I had those social media accounts, Real Nebraska Girls, that I started way before, probably in 2012.
Oh, wow.
And so I had like a following for those accounts on like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter way back in the day that I never really like monetized or made money off of. It was just kind of like a fun hobby of like growing that Nebraska-based community. And so then when I finally downloaded TikTok during COVID, I would just randomly post, but it would be very much geared toward Nebraska and like places and things and stuff going on here that this community would care about. And so by the time I was laid off, I think I had 20 to 30,000 followers. And I was like getting some brand deals, starting to make some income from it. And so I was like, okay, you know what? The severance package was nice. There is like some room here where I don't need to rush into another corporate position. So I was just like, I'm going to let life flow and see what happens. And so it's just been kind of growing and flowing ever since. But I would say like the start of 2024 is like when I really, really like leaned into it. It was the fall. Sorry, I totally messed up. It was the fall of 2022 that all that happened. So 2024 is my second year. So I really leaned into it January 2023.
And you would just go into mainly, but Lincoln, you kind of started in Lincoln, right?
Lincoln, like Omaha
Like
places.
just taking videos of
restaurants and you were in, and then people just start asking you or contacting you saying, hey.
Yeah, what were some of the first sponsored videos you were working with?
So my first big brand deal where I was like, damn, this paid me twice as much in a month that my corporate job did was with Casey's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they had come out with a new beer cheese pizza. And so that was my first big money brand deal that I was like, okay, this might be kind of nice. I'll just let this flow for a while.
Very cool.
So that was my first big one. And then from there, I'm a pretty creative person, and since I had different marketing roles in e-commerce, I kind of figured out different ways and different streams to monetize what I was doing and actually make a livable income out of it so that I wouldn't have to go back to a 9-to-5. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome to be able to just
oh my gosh, yes.
do what you want every day and get that money.
And for me, life, a wealthy life is a life of peace and ease and the opportunity or the ability to say no to things that you don't want to do because you're financially stressed. So just having an easy life where I'm not in a super rush to do anything specific. I've been calling these last 2 years my flow and rest years, because I know it's this probably isn't forever. And eventually I think I'd like to start my own company or go back into the back end work of helping another company. And so I'm just kind of soaking it in and just being grateful and enjoying the timeline I'm in.
So at what point did it transition into, what was the moment besides that brand deal with Casey's that you were like, okay, this is sustainable. I can live like this. This is my full-time job now.
Yeah. I think when brand deals and income streams just started flowing in a way to where I wasn't worried if I didn't have a huge income that month. So just being financially secure, I guess I would say, gave me the confidence to just keep going with it and kind of being in a flow state and just letting it go. And I think the big thing too is I never really focused on specifically follower count. I kind of live with a system of your people will find you and they're going to be attracted to you. All you have to do is show up as your authentic self and share the things that you really love and that you're passionate about. And those right people, they're going to find you. You don't need to try to be anything else. And I think a lot of times creators will try to copy other creators or try to do something that someone else is doing, And yeah, you might get some followers off of that, but you the best piece of advice is just show up as yourself and the right people will find you.
I love that. That's how I wish I could make a living, of just being me and people just giving me money for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how blessed am I?
Yeah.
I feel extremely blessed to have that opportunity to do that.
I have some questions off of your videos. You do a lot of estate sales.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Did you just start doing that, or did you contact one of the companies and say, hey, if we partner, we can, make a little cheddar cheese on the side?
Yeah. So I was going to estate sales and loved going thrifting and estate sales before I ever started making content about it. And one of the things that I've tried to do is even if it's a simple, stupid thing that I enjoy, that I maybe would have never thought about filming, grocery store stuff too, I've been doing lately. Other people are going to find that interesting.
Yeah.
And so I started making videos every time I would go to an estate sale and find cool shit.
It's so smart.
I love secondhand stuff. And so after a while of doing that, there was one estate sale company, Bassett's Estate Sale, that I really, really just I loved Amy. I loved her. Her vibes were good. We got along really well. I could just tell she's a good human, good people. And I was like, hey, do you want to have a partnership? And I will specifically come to your estate sales after you get all set up and before the actual sale. And I'll make videos and, get a whole new demographic of people to start enjoying things secondhand. It's good for the economy. It's good,
Yep.
And so me and her have been kind of partnered in the last year of me making videos about, her estate sales. And I absolutely love it. I love finding all the treasures, and now getting to go when there's not a crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And like beforehand, before anyone gets in there and touches anything, is way better. So now when I like go to other ones, I'm like, oh man, there's so many people. Can you guys just like give me some space so I can look at all this cool old shit?
Well, I went to a couple of estate sales after I saw your videos, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, those are the sweetest Husker sweatshirts. I'm going to try to go see if they're still there. And
The coolest shit. And I need to be careful so I don't become a hoarder. I have to remind myself, like, okay, do you absolutely love this? Will you find it again? Or like, is it something you can't live without? It's going to be something that you take with you every time you move.
yeah,
Because all the cool shit I have, yes, I like love it, but I'm running out of room at my place for cool shit. So I gotta like slow my brakes. But if I could, I would take everything.
whose idea was it to hide the rubber duckies at the estate sales?
Me. So I do like ducking Jeeps.
Okay,
That's like
yeah.
a fun, weird Jeep cult thing. I don't know. Weird cult situation that I'm in.
No, we've made them for a client
Yeah.
here at Perchmerch with his stuff on it, so we can leave them on Jeeps.
Yeah,
And that's how I
smart.
learned about it. I was like, okay, this is what? Yeah.
Yeah, so Jeep people, like when I carry, like, I buy those huge, like 50 to 100 pound, like, or not 100 pound, ducks. 100 pound ducks in my car. Like a bag of 100 ducks in my Jeep at all times. And so, like, if I'm at Target, if I'm at anywhere and there's like a Jeep near me, I'll just go leave them a little duck. And it's kind of cute and it's nice. And so I kind of took that from the ducking Jeep things, and I was like, we should do something fun to like get your customers a little bit more engaged. And so that's how I was like, I'm just gonna go grab a duck from my Jeep and hide it, and then she buys gift cards for whoever finds them. So it's kind of just like a fun little
Yeah, it's great.
thing.
I went to the one estate sale and I was like, did someone find the duck yet? And it's like, yeah, it's the same guy that shows up first every time.
Yeah, there's a guy who like makes it his absolute mission to find that duck, no matter how hard we try. And so there was a few times where they waited till that guy like came and left, and then they put the duck
no
out.
kidding.
Oh, you know, he
Because-
left so angry too. Like, I couldn't find it. I know it's
Yeah, and
there
they were like,
somewhere.
"Oh, it's just hiding really good."
Now he knows.
But like,
Yeah, whoops.
it just like wasn't fair at one point because
Yeah.
he just would get there so early and like make that his one mission in life, so he could get like a $15 Starbucks gift card. So actually, I've been thinking about starting my own estate sale company because I'm still trying to figure out, like, outside of TikTok, what kind of business or company like would I want to have. And so that's nothing official or anything, but just like a
You
thought.
heard it here first, folks.
It's been a thought of like, okay, here's how I've kind of like learned the business like from the inside now. And so thinking about like how I would want to do things like a little bit differently, or like just do things my way that like isn't the traditional estate sale culture way. But I think that'd be really fun.
Okay, so let's talk about kind of the whole thing. So it's mainly TikTok for some reason,
Yeah.
which is, yeah, like it's same with for Brand Lincoln. Our TikTok is where we have the most followers, as not Instagram or Facebook. Mm-hmm. But you still have some, but it's nowhere compared to TikTok.
Yeah.
And TikTok went away for a minute there.
Did you have a panic on that day?
A little bit. I kind of just like always thought like there's no way it can actually
Yeah.
disappear. Like there's over, I think they said like 7 million small businesses on TikTok and 170 million users. And there was a crazy number, I think like 30 to 40 million. You might have to double check all this because I could be lying.
We're not going to check anything.
But like 30 to 40 million people like make income on TikTok too. So I was like, okay, like economy wise,
Yeah.
there's no way. So I was kind of just like always very hopeful. But I was also like, I've kind of set myself up in a position to where like if it did go away, I have no problem reinventing myself somewhere else or going back into another marketing role. Because I do, like, I loved marketing, and like all the roles I've had, I've absolutely loved and got a lot out of. I didn't like leave corporate world because I absolutely hated what I was doing and hated having a 9 to 5. like that really wasn't the case. So I also had no problem doing that. And I was in a good position financially to where if I needed to take 6 months and figure out what was next, I like had the comfortability to do that. So I don't know. I was kind of like just open to what was going to happen. I mean, I have no control over it. And so I can only control what I do. And that was just.
Because I'm just asking, like, but because if TikTok's gone, you can't sustain yourself with the Instagram, Facebook stuff.
Yeah, and I thought about that as far as like, okay, well, would I move to another platform? Would I go to YouTube and re-upload all my shorter videos to shorts and then start focusing on like long form? I didn't really want to do that, if I'm being honest. And I didn't really want to lean into Facebook or Instagram either. TikTok just like it's a different kind of space for community. I could never post what I post on TikTok to Instagram and like get the same kind of reach, get the same kind of reaction, like get the same support. They're different algorithms, you reach different people. Like the community on TikTok is a way different vibe. It's a more welcoming vibe. People of all different backgrounds, views, like come together on TikTok. And that's kind of, I think, what makes it such an incredible place.
But there's still hate on TikTok. Do you get, I mean, the bad, I've gotten them.
What do you mean,
What,
hate?
I got one that's like, not everybody needs a podcast, bro. I'm like, ouch.
Yeah. I feel like there's
What?
Yeah, I got that comment on one of my videos.
yeah, I mean, I don't really put anything out there like controversial. Every once in a while I'll get kind of just like an ignorant, rude comment from someone who doesn't even follow me. So I'm like, you don't, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, but for the most part, I don't see a lot of that.
That's good.
Just you, Chris.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, and I think there is a lot of guys who have podcasts, and I feel like a funny thing, people like find humor in it of like taking away mics from men, like who gave this man a mic? And I think
I'm
that's
sure
kind of
people
like
say that are saying that right now.
It's a running inside joke, I feel.
Got it.
I hold a microphone like every weekend, so now I'm worried someone's going to say
everybody-
that.
Who gave this man a mic?
I think that.
But I mean,
Chris.
I see those comments on like funny podcast clips where like a man will be like, "Oh, I'm killing it and I'm making such a solid point," and then like a woman will stitch it and be like, "You're just fighting your own demons. Like, who gave this man a mic?" And it's pretty funny. So sorry,
We'll look out for those videos. Okay, so let's say though that TikTok sticks around,
Yeah.
and it keeps getting bigger. Like, what would be your plan for it in, say, 2-3 years?
a plan. I don't know.
Like, just keep doing what you're doing, or would you start adding? I guess it kind of depends on what brand deals would come.
Yeah.
What-
I think, okay, so I feel like I'm still kind of in this like flow state of opportunity, if that makes sense. And ideally, like my life plan, like I do not want to be on the internet forever. It was never my goal to become an influencer or content creator. Everything just kind of flowed for me. And I never really wanted that. I love being like the behind the scenes person on something. Like that's what I did for 10 years. And I get a lot of pleasure out of it. So I think what I would like to eventually do is delete all of my I'd like to delete all of my social media and disappear from the internet someday once I have like a different company or something else figured out. That's why I like it kind of makes me cherish it more, like with that being the end goal in mind, is to disappear from the internet and not have my face on the internet at all. So it makes me cherish like this season of life a little bit more, knowing that I do want to disappear from it all one day.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, that would be the end game and the plan is to disappear from
And
the
then
internet
people are like,
completely.
whatever happened to her?
Yeah, like Jenna Marbles, like just disappear one day and just bye, peace out. But I mean, I'm definitely not there yet because I haven't quite figured out like what is next and what am I going to do outside of that? I don't know yet. And I'm kind of just open to what it could be or what the future is.
Do you get noticed out a lot
Yeah. It's weird. At first, like my first, I would say, like year really leading into it when I was like growing a lot more, I felt very uncomfortable. I was just like, ooh, I'd like be at Target like looking like a trash panda and just like just an icky day. You know what I mean? And someone would be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to bother you, but like, are you on TikTok? I follow you on TikTok. And I was like, oh, maybe. I don't know. And I'd like walk away. Like how rude. But I think it was like mostly just me being like, this is embarrassing, like and uncomfortable. This person knows or like, thinks they like know me. And they'll like come up to me and, you know, and I'm just like, a little awkward, nervous animal, stranger danger. And now I've kind of like rethought it and put myself in their shoes, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'd be excited, you know, if I thought I had someone I really liked on the internet. I was like, oh my gosh, hey, like you're such a cool person. I like to follow you. And like everyone has been so nice. And so now I've kind of changed my mindset on it and really leaned into it more and been like, oh, hi, like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad like I met you. It's so fun to like, because I've met a lot of really cool people from TikTok. Like ask them their name and like I'll try to like go and like follow them back if I can find them, you know. So it was a little bit like scary at first, and like there's been some like weird situations with men.
Oh, I'm sure.
But like for the most part, like people are really kind and respectful, and I just needed to figure out like how to lean into it because it was something that like I never wanted. I like have always been like the person that wants to like make something like for somebody else. And so the fact that it was like me now in the spotlight was like something I really had to change how I thought about things on.
Was filming in public ever uncomfortable for you, or do you have no problem with doing that?
Sometimes. I think you have to have the right mentality because there's still days where like for whatever reason I'm just feeling shy and introverted, and I know that like I cannot be in a place where I'm just like out in public doing that. And then I have days where I'm like, heck yeah, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to film. Like, I'm never going to see any of these people again. Like, who cares who's looking at me or watching me? And I think that also comes like with who you're around. If you're surrounded by people that like make you feel stupid for what you're doing, you're going to feel stupid and you're going to not have the confidence to do that. And so having like the right people around you, whether that's online or in real life, who like encourage you to do those things and like remind you like of what you're doing and like why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. I think that kind of makes all the difference in how you're feeling that day and the confidence you have to go out and just like film in public. And I always try to like be very respectful too.
That's good.
Like people around me, like I have some close friends that like are not on the internet at all. And so like when we hang out and we do things, I'm respectful. I'm like, I'm not filming. I'm not sharing a bunch of things. Like I keep like their privacy like at the top of my mind. And then I have friends who don't mind and they're like, yeah, let's make a TikTok, or like, yeah, like we're going to go thrifting or go do this or go to a coffee shop, and I'm totally fine and comfortable with it. So it just depends on who you're around. And like, I don't know, I take notice of that and want to like respect how other people feel about it too.
So you started with, what would you say, rural Nebraska girls?
Real Nebraska girls.
Real Nebraska girls. So that was like already a TikTok, and you said you had following.
Well, that was on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was circa 2012. So it was pretty much right when I graduated high school. And I wasn't really sure because I got accepted into FITM out in LA, and I was supposed to go, did my visit, got accepted, did all of that, and then financial situation fell through. And so I was like, oh shit, like, what am I gonna do? And so I was like, okay, well, I'll take a year off and I will figure it out, you know, have a work year, because I didn't really want to just like go into a 4-year college not knowing what I wanted to do. And then from that, I built up that community, which led to like my first marketing job, which was I ran all the social media marketing for Country Stampede in Manhattan, Kansas during its like glory days at Tuttle Creek.
Yeah, I remember the glory days. Yeah.
Like the good days. And from there, that just kind of like led the path to a marketing career. So I just ended up skipping college, which thank the Lord. But yeah, what was the question?
Well, it started off with Real Nebraska Girls.
Oh, yeah. So that kind of developed on Facebook. And I would just post cute girls from all over Nebraska. And I was really active on Facebook.
Henry followed.
For sure, Joe.
Really active on like Facebook and Instagram with it and Twitter.
But then how did that transfer into a bunch of followers on TikTok for you?
I think like that taught me how to like build a community.
Okay.
And like,
Because like, what was your first video that went viral or did really well that all of a sudden you started getting a lot of followers and followers and followers?
I think for me it was gradual. It wasn't like one specific video that like popped off and then I gained 50,000 followers.
Got it.
It's just been like a gradual growth
Organic.
of the right people. And like that's how I would want it to be, because then it feels like those people like know me and they're actually like following along my journey, rather than a bunch of people hopping in all at once and like trying to play catch up and like they don't actually know me or care about me or really want to follow along. They're just following because they liked a viral video. So I don't know. I guess I kind of prefer it that way.
No, that makes sense.
So I guess for the listeners, some of her videos are, or a good example is you recently posted a survey of what Nebraska thing you should do in the upcoming weeks.
Oh, yeah.
To get some good content, and you settled on the duck races. So it's easy content because you're just going to enjoy yourself,
Yeah.
and you're going to record what happens as you do it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I got into doing social media stuff too, or not influencing. What do we call it?
Content
creating. Which is just like a no-brainer, and it's easy.
Yeah. And a lot of people just don't think to film it.
Yeah. So then some other videos you've been posting. I think the first one I saw that you did was you toured one of the barns at Rocaberry Farms.
Okay.
And since I'm a wedding DJ, I'm like, hey, I know this barn. Like, let's see what she has to say about it. You know, of course, I've been there many times, but it's always fun to see someone else's intake or what they think about something that you do constantly. So was that, did Roca reach out to you, or did you reach out to them and say, hey, let me do some videos over here?
Yeah. So Jordan, you know Jordan Schaefer. So his family has owned Rocaberry forever. They started Rocaberry Farm. And I knew Jordan way back in high school. He went to Norris. I went to Southeast. And so like we've always kind of like, you know, been Facebook friends, kept in touch. And we had talked about like doing some stuff. And I wanted to do a Let's Be Friends like girls event to like help women meet each other and like find new friends. And so I was like, well, Rocaberry has the space for it. And so I just messaged him and I was like, hey, would you be open to letting me throw an event there? And I was like really hoping that like I wouldn't get charged like wedding fees, because they kind of can be expensive, you know? And he was like, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. I've been wanting to like reach out to you for a while now to like do something with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. So I went out there, we just like bullshit, caught up. And then, I made a video about the barn. And so he never asked me to post that or anything, but I knew like he was giving me a space for this event. I know he's a good human. We vibed until I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like make a couple videos for him. And he actually like booked out a ton of weddings from that video, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
And
gosh,
so he
that's
was
awesome.
like, okay, well, we have to like partner in the fall and do more. So then like we partnered this past fall, and then for their Christmas event in December. And then we're going to be doing like a lot more things next year. But that's kind of how my like local partnerships, I would say, have gone. It's a lot less about the money with like local partnerships and people, and more about the relationships and if I like them and if they're good people and if they care about the community and like what they're doing.
Sure.
Just more of a vibe.
So you said local. Are you doing non-local things too?
Yeah. So like more like corporate partnerships. I mean, I'll ask for money.
Yeah, sure.
You know. So, but I don't really like doing that for local places as much, just because it isn't as affordable to, you know, pay $5,000 for a video for a small business. That's unreasonable. And so like a lot of my like food content, I would say most 99% of it isn't like paid or sponsored. It's literally just me going out to eat and filming it and checking the place out.
That's good though. It's supporting
Yeah.
local small business. That's
I mean, I gotta
what
eat.
this podcast is all about. Yeah.
Gotta eat anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
And you need content to post for tomorrow, so
yeah. Well, and one thing I always do, which might seem kind of annoying, but I will like always take a picture of everything too and leave them a Google review also.
Oh.
And so it's beyond just, taking a video and like content, and like that's honestly where people find out about it the most. But also, like, if you were to go stalk my like Google review page, there's hundreds of reviews on like local places.
well,
And I don't make no money from that, but I like to do it.
I think I'll do that and decide where I'm going to eat for lunch then today.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
That's neat. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, speaking of food and restaurants, when you're not out making content, or maybe when you are, what are your favorite restaurants here in town, or favorite things to do recreationally?
Oh, I just went to that what's that called? Smashing It 402. I went there on my
Yeah.
birthday, and that was so much fun.
I saw that video. That did look great.
What'd you get to break?
Oh, they gave us like crates just full of like glass things. There was I saved one pot because it was too pretty to break. I was like, I have to take this home. And that's an option. Like if you want to actually take anything home and not break
that's
it,
so
you
funny.
can. And like the thrifter estate sale person to me was like, wait, we got to make sure.
Well, shoot, are you pairing the estate sales with these guys? Because all the stuff that doesn't sell.
Maybe
Yeah.
that would be a good partnership. But that was super fun, and I had a lot of fun doing that. I would definitely go back more, and I want to. Things to do.
We should do that as a company outing, Chris. Go smash stuff together.
Get
We have
your
a few
anger out.
printers we could bring with us.
Yeah, and they said you could bring all your own stuff too. And if you bring all your own stuff to break, I don't think you have to pay for a room.
All right.
Oh,
we got
okay, there we
got
go.
some stuff we could find.
Right? I was like, oh, anger management. This is perfect. I don't
that's so
really
funny.
have a lot of anger, but it felt good just to break shit. Throw a plate across the wall. I don't know.
You ever broken glass, Henry?
Not on purpose, Joe. Not on purpose.
You gotta live, man.
Oh, it feels so good just to smash something that's kind of beautiful. I don't know why. It just does something.
Except
to
for
me.
the Voss or whatever.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Save one thing.
Yeah.
Save one thing. Food wise, one of my favorite Mexican restaurants is on like 13th and D. El Chaparro. Is that right?
13th
13th and F.
F. 13th and F. Chaparro.
13th and F. El Chaparro. Is that right? El Chaparro.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have alcohol there, so if you want like a sassy margarita, you can't have one.
They do have heck of burritos, though.
Oh my gosh. The most amazing, like authentic Mexican food, I think, in Lincoln. That's usually one of like my go-tos. If someone's like, "Oh, are you hungry?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just don't want to feel anything. Let's go eat. Let's go eat some million tacos." Like that will probably be always one of my go-tos. My favorite breakfast spot is Woody's on West O.
That's still there?
I think so.
Okay.
Isn't it? Double check me.
It used to be in the hotel back in my day.
Oh.
And then they moved to the strip mall
Okay.
by Valentino's.
Yep, they're still over there.
Okay.
They have it's the only place in Lincoln you can get it. It's a Reuben omelet, and I love Reubens, and I crave that thing. If I'm waking up in the morning, I will go get that.
Okay.
Yes, that's the best breakfast spot. Well, I mean, I don't know about everything else on their menu. Actually, I've never tried anything else on their menu. But it looks good at
They
other
do one
people's
thing
tables.
really well.
They do one thing really well, and I've never gotten anything else there. So, but
Fair enough.
Engine House is good too. They make really good eggs
Yes.
Benedict.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Perfect.
And you can find out about Engine House from our episode 17.
Yep. With Roger.
Is that the guy who owns it?
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, Roger. It's great. Okay. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Well,
Yeah.
where can people find you? Like, tell us your handles and stuff.
It's literally just my name, just Andrea L. Norris on everything. So it's super easy.
You just got to add the L on it. Not
Yeah.
Andrea Norris. Andrea L. Norris.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
Thank you.
having me on.
Thanks, everybody.